You have a good consultation, you quote the fee, you send the contract, and then nothing. They sit on it for a few days and then disappear. And at this point, you can almost predict when that's going to happen. The people who are going to sign do so very quickly, and the ones that hesitate almost never convert at all. But what if this wasn't a timing issue? What if it's a process issue? We worked with a firm that had around 10 people sitting in the contract sent stage every single week. Some of those were big cases, like felonies, and they had the lead volume, they had the consultations, but when it came to converting people and getting them across the line, they were just falling short. We fixed this with the system that I'm going to show you in this video. So here's what their original intake process looked like. A prospect would call, the front desk would take that call and qualify them. At that point, they'd be passed to the attorney. The attorney would determine whether or not he could help them, and if so, make the sale. At this point, the lead would be passed back to the front desk. He'd say, hey, the front desk is going to send you a contract, be expecting that. And that's when they would be in this contract sent stage, waiting for their signature so they could begin legal representation. At this point, if they don't sign, most firms assume it's a price issue or they weren't serious to begin with. And yes, some people are shopping around. Some want to just get quotes so that they can show that they can't afford private counsel, so they get a public defender, or they're looking to hire a public defender anyway. But if someone is sitting in the contract sent stage, there's going to be a big proportion of people who are very interested and very close to signing with your firm. Because if they're in the contract sent stage, they're still deciding. They're thinking about the cost, the outcome, and the risk. They're probably even going to go around and Google you and look at your reputation to make sure there are no red flags. So if there's nothing guiding them after they have a contract sitting in their hands, you're going to lose them. That's why they end up either hiring the firm with the strongest reputation or just the firm that stays in front of them the best and continues providing reassurance once they are in this stage. I want to make this clear. This is the highest leverage opportunity in your entire funnel. Not getting more leads. It's converting the people who have proven they're qualified, are interested in your service, have heard you speak, are a warm lead, and are almost ready to sign. This is crucial. And now I'm going to walk you through the system we implemented for this firm to convert more of these leads. So this is a quick rundown of how the automation works. You can see we have matter statuses, contract sent, newly added, scheduled in-office appointment, they will call back. Basically anything that happens within their CRM that the front desk is updating, we can trigger automations off the back of that. The key one to look at here is contract sent. So when they mark a lead as contract sent, that means they have a contract sitting in their hand, and we're going to add them to this workflow here, which is the signed workflow. Now in this one, there's 3 messages. So they're going to get message 1 right away. I'm going to go into what is in each of these 3 messages in a second. They'll get message 1 right away, and these are spaced out for every day. So day 1, message 2 is on day 2, message 3 is on day 3. We want to stay on top of it because while a lead is hot and while they have the contract in their hand, you can't wait too long before they sign. Otherwise, they'll disappear. And we have this condition here, which basically checks to see whether they have signed or not. If they've signed, then they're going to be removed from this flow because we don't want to send messages to people who have already signed. Now, let's move on into discussing what is in the actual messages so you can set this up also. So message 1 is all about building connection and rapport outside of that original sales environment. So you're going to basically have a little bit of copy that says, hey, you've got a contract sitting in your inbox, we're waiting for your signature. Here's a little bit more information about how we're going to protect you. Then you can link to a YouTube video of yours, and the goal of this YouTube video, we call it a video sales letter, VSL, is to really make a case about why you're different, why you're better, and your unique process for how you're going to help them to avoid the charge that they've been slapped with. Why do we do this? Well, seeing a video of you is going to help reinforce the warmth. They're going to connect the message to the contract, to the video, and all of that comes together to really make you feel like they can trust you and they know you, and you've got all these different opportunities to get into their world and get into their universe. So this is a broad spectrum approach to having multiple touch points with every single prospect so that we can stay in front of them in a respectful way. This first message is mainly about reassurance. Message 2 focuses on what's at stake. So what they stand to lose by delaying. You don't have to do this in a way that involves pressure or high stakes, but you could make it simply and plainly stated what happens if they delay in their case. Matter of fact. This message is about urgency. And message 3 is all about removing friction. So you want to send something that's empathetic, low friction, and gives them a clear next step. So maybe they have lingering questions, so just give them a phone number so that they can call you up and you can handle any of those lingering doubts and lingering objections and move them towards that signature. So the purpose of this messaging sequence is to extend the conversation beyond the initial consultation. The initial consultation you should think of as the middle of the sales process, not the end. Most firms treat that like the end of the sales process. It's really not. You need to continue the conversation so that these leads don't go cold. And our client, after we implemented this for him, said that things were just moving a lot smoother. If this is happening to your firm, it's usually part of a bigger intake problem. In the next video, I break down a case where a firm was losing 55% of qualified leads at intake and how we fixed it. Check that out now.